Magic Eraser though, I want to talk about Magic Eraser for a second.
Sure.
It's so fun. So this could be a gimmick and I'm overreacting, but I loved it. I mean, Instagram Reels loved it, so the world must like it too.
I guess I lost that bet.
Instagram, it was doing really great on Instagram.
Yeah.
Literally, you just open up a photo, go to Tools, go to Magic Eraser, and it determines with AI if there's anything in the background you probably don't want. It's pretty good at that by itself. It'll just highlight little people behind you. If you're standing alone in the front of the frame and there's somebody behind you over your shoulder, it'll just highlight it right away.
More object detection for machine learning.
Exactly. It knows these objects and it goes, you want to remove this? And it gives you a button. And you hit erase and it just disappears and it fills in the background. So if you're aware of content-aware fill in Photoshop or even After Effects, it works really well with certain types of backgrounds. And so all the examples we see that work really well are typically patterned backgrounds, simple backgrounds, high contrast object versus background. And when you do that on this phone, it really does look like magic. I'm telling you, you can show like your parents this, and
I
they'll
love
be
the
like,
fade in, fade out effect that it has.
yeah,
too.
it just like highlights it and just glows and disappears. And you're like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That looks like the future. Show that to your parents. They'll think it's the coolest thing ever. I guarantee it.
And it's faster than Photoshop contour fill too, by a lot.
That's the Tensor advantage
Tensor,
right
baby.
there.
That's Tensor.
So good for them.
Yeah.
If you try like a crazy huge object with a crazy complex background, it's gonna look insane.
It doesn't always work as well.
Yeah.
I think you guys did one of it picked me out of the back of a photo of you guys in my desk, and it did not do a great job.
It like ripped
on
your
that.
upper body out, but your legs were still there, and then it made it just blurry.
It was just this
It's
like stretch across.
It's just like content-aware fill, where the area you take out, if it doesn't hit, it's just kind of a smudge.
Yeah, it doesn't know what was supposed to be behind
It's
you.
bringing some like a professional grade tool to common people and letting the basics of it work really well, and letting them see it for the first time. Where I'm sure most professional people would rather just clone stamp or something manually than
if the iPhone had this, people would be losing their minds. I think this is a really cool
People,
gimmick.
Like when you go to like a famous photo spot or something, or you go to like a very popular tourist destination, the Instagram ability of this for people that, you know, they're like, I ran across the not Golden Gate Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge the other day, and there's people running through, and the amount of people that are trying to get that photo where it looks like they're the only one on the bridge, but then there's everyone running through. This is the perfect scenario.
That's what everyone's thinking when they see this commercial.
Yeah.
I can finally get that photo now that I have this phone. So I thought it was really cool. That's that speed of it in the video I showed, that's the Tensor advantage.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a thing I was surprised by, which is the battery life not being that great.
Yeah.
So I haven't published the video yet, so we'll see, and I'm going to watch other people's reviews once I publish this, but I'm very curious what your experience and thoughts were with the battery, because I thought it would be amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been amazing.
Yeah. I got like a little over 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time. You got a little better, right?
Yeah, on the Pro, I was seeing like around 4.
Probably because the LTPO display.
Sure. Yeah. LTPO, a little bit bigger battery. Obviously, it's a bigger, brighter screen, but I never got over 4.5.
Yeah. So it's not great, especially when you compare it to what Apple did this year with the iPhone 13 series, and just like an hour and a half more, 2.5 hours more, and now the Max in particular gets like 10 hours of screen on time.
And that was my comparison. So like when we hold up an iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's a big phone, sure, but it's very flat, very tightly put together. That phone has a 4,300 milliamp hour battery. Not that huge.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-day phone. It's got like a crazy long 8+ hour screen on time battery life.
Yeah.
So now Google comes out with a phone. Tensor.
Yeah.
5,000 milliamp hour battery. I'm thinking, wow, okay, this is going to be good. And I'm getting half of the battery at best that the iPhone did. So that was my interest. My initial like curiosity was like, oh, I guess Tensor didn't really take too many cycles off of the high-powered cores.
Yeah,
maybe?
It's not the same thing as like Apple having efficiency cores and high-power cores. Really, like the Tensor cores, the TPU, are sort of separate from the low-energy cores, right? And your phone's sort of doing machine learning all the time, especially Pixel phones, because it's always listening for the keyword, and it's always doing these little like smart assistant things. There's a context hub on the chip itself, right? And that's supposed to be a low-ish power hub. I just think that overall, this is like the first chip design that is built around the TPU. It's Google's first attempt at sort of designing their own chip. manufactured by Samsung, but that doesn't matter. I think that's a confusion a lot of people had. They're like, Samsung's making the chip for Google. It's like, yeah, they're building it like TSMC.
Yeah, Google's not a foundry.
Google's not a foundry, but they designed it.
Yeah.
I think this year was just like, okay, can we make our own chip? I listened to this interview with Rick Osterloh, and I think he said they started the process of like conceptualizing it like 5 years ago, but they only started like actually making it like a couple years ago, like building the design. Yeah. And I think this year is just making sure that they like, can we actually do this? And what is possible if we really push like these TPU cores to a limit right now? I think next year, second generation of most products is where you really iron that stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think next year they'll figure out how to make Tensor work just as well while using a lot less power.
I had a friend at Nationals ask me, hey, Marques, should I get the Pixel 7? And at first I was like, what kind of dumb question is that?
But then you're like, wait.
And they were like, well, I've got a Pixel 4, and like, I don't really think I'm going to get the Pixel 6. I'm going to be good for one more year, so how's the Pixel 7 going to be? And then I actually
like
thought about it.
The iPhone 14
I know, like
I
I initially was just like, I don't know anything about that phone, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? The second generation of Tensor, it'll be their second shot at this new camera system, and they'll probably refine a lot of things about the design, and it'll kind of feel like a second generation of this new Pixel.
Right.
And I thought about it. I was like, actually, yeah, that's probably a good place to jump in, like Pixel 7. And that's not saying Pixel 6s or 6 Pro are bad phones by any means. I still think the 6 is a great deal, and you should jump on it if your phone's getting kind of old. But yeah, I agree. When we'll see the second generation of Tensor, I'm going to be that much more interested in battery.
This is also apparently the first Pro Pixel phone, or like higher end Pixel phone, that is built by that HTC team that they acquired. Yeah. Like apparently they did like the 4A or something.
Right.
But this is the first like Pro one. And the build quality is not quite iPhone level, or even like high end OnePlus phone level, in my opinion. Like there's a lot of weird quirks about the build quality that make it feel like slightly cheaper than other Android phones.
Just a little.
But especially Pixel 6 is such a good value that like that's something you can write off.
Right, that's the difference though. So with Pixel 6 with that price, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
With this phone, they keep saying flagship. And so my natural instinct when they say that word is to compare it to the other flagships, which are a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But you do start to see a difference there. And S21 Ultra screen is way better than the Pixel 6 Pro screen. It just is. Yeah. It's a better screen. The iPhone has a flat screen. I think it's also better despite being lower resolution. So it's those types of little things with the build quality, just how tightly built it is. There's a lot of seams on the back. Yeah. So I agree. Like in the flagship, you can nitpick a bit more. But
if we can talk a little bit more about Tensor really quick.
Sure.
So as you also saw, the speed of the natural language processing on Tensor
so good.
Is just so good.
It's incredible.
Like everything that I hoped for.
Can we do a demo right now?
Yeah, just
Can we have like Andrew talk and then I put this up next
I'll
to him?
I'll do
Can you rap?
the exit. Can I rap?
How good are you at rapping Eminem songs?
Yeah. Also, I'm in airplane mode and that's going to be totally fine for this.
Yeah, because it's on device.
Yeah. All right. And you can just talk as fast as you want.
Talk as fast as I want. I do know Guns and Chips from Hamilton.
Is that
That's pretty quick.
I don't know what that
Will we get demonetized?
I don't think so.
Can you say it really fast?
It is a fast song, and I'm already cringing that I've offered this out here. But
whatever you want.
Give me 1 minute to let me get
in the zone.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, I trust you.
I'm excited for this.
I'm taking this horse by the reins, making red coats red with blood stains, and are never going to stop until I make a drop and burn it up and scatter the remains. No, okay. It didn't do that. That was too fast.
It was a little slurred.
It has to be slurred to be that fast, but yeah. But it still, though, is continuing to do this as I'm talking.
Right,
and
talk faster.
What's pretty impressive is that it's keeping up with everything. It's almost at the point where I don't know what to say the next word because it's exactly where I am on the screen. And I'm kind of losing breath, but this is a perfect podcast contest.
It's like real. It's real time.
Breath.
It's a real time. It's crazy.
It's really impressive. Although now it is getting a little confused because you're talking in the background over some of the things, and that's where the one time where it seems to kind of go off.
I'm trying to remember who it was, but somebody wrote most of their Pixel 6 review with the voice.
I was gonna say that's
voice to text.
This has changed the way I think I'm going to use this phone, which is I want to use voice more often as much as possible. I'm texting with voice a lot more.
Oh yeah,
they got the little mic in the keyboard.
I noticed Michael was doing that too. We were at a bar last night. He's just like texting like long paragraphs with his voice.
Exactly, and it punctuates you well. And if you're in the middle of something and catch something being wrong, while the mic's still going, you can go cursor around different parts of it and replace words. It has content awareness, so if you correct a name spelling one time, it'll remember that later. If you are texting somebody about somebody, it will remember the name and the spelling of the person in your contacts that you're talking to them about. It's really, really
Does it say MKBHD or does it say I'm Kim PhD?
That is a fantastic question. I've never tried it, and I might as well just try it right now.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this live. I'm gonna screen record.
What is up, guys?
This is the
intro.
real truth.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey, what is up, guys? MKBHD here. Welcome back to another video, and it did actually get it right.
Wow!
Incredibly.
Impressive.
Now they just need to like run the YouTube thing on their TPUs, and then we'll be good.
That is not what I expected. Usually it gives you some sort of a weird
Kim
alteration.
PhD was one. I forget what some of the other ones were because I banned them from our subreddit because they got so annoying. But
that's good.
Yeah. So the other thing with the natural language processing is like you can live translate with live caption. So live caption is something that they introduced last year, I believe, where you basically on device without internet, you can caption any content that is on your phone. So if you take a video of your kid's recital or something, you're watching it back, it will just put the captions live as you're watching the video, which is incredible. And now, if you're watching any video in a different language, it will show you captions in your language.
Live translated
without
captions.
internet.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Like, this is the type of stuff that doesn't appear on any benchmark. Like, no matter how good your chip is, this is the type of stuff you can't really measure until you just use it and you're like, oh, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So that's why I said in the video, the delta between the benchmarks and the usage is massive here.
Woof, woof.
What a good sport.
Boy,
he just woke
good
up
boy.
from a power nap. You can tell, you can see it in his eyes, the power nap.
At least he didn't bark.
Mac would like you to subscribe to the Clips channel in case you haven't seen this.
Let's just go straight to
before.
Clip.
Also, the Clips channel officially surpassed the main channel.
Thank you.
Clip channel
Now
supremacy.
go subscribe to the main channel.
Subscribe, please.
You're not watching our entire conversation that lasts over an hour? Are you even human?
Come hang out on both
Max
channels.
says no. Subscribe.
How long are we going to do this for? All right, boys.
There it is.
We're done.